It recognizes our belief in God, our country, not just individuals, our country, our founding fathers codified this in the documents that founded this country. Our reliance, our belief in God, and our reliance upon God. Of that, there's just no debate on that. You may like it, may not like it. Declaration of Independence, we find these truths to be self-evident, that we are endowed by our Creator with certain inalienable rights, of which are life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. It goes on in the Constitution to say we are putting together this Constitution in a preamble to secure the blessings, not only for ourselves, for posterity. And that Constitution followed with a Bill of Rights that enumerated those godly rights given to man, including the very first one, which was a right to believe in God and to express that belief anytime, anywhere, including the public square.
33 million. It's proven to the money investors that people want something to feed their souls, not just their worst desires.
Absolutely.
And
yes, indeed.
This kind of sums up my entire dialogue career on the heat of the night. You ready for this? Okay, this is it. My 7 years on the heat of the night. My dialogue all summarized in this. Get right on it, Chief.
But Bubba's my name. I like my iced tea sweet and my women the same. I'm your brown-haired badge here in little old Sparta, but nobody's bigger or tougher or smarter. If you're looking to fight, best not be with me. Wanna be held tight? Well, now we'll just see. You never know in the heat of the night on TNT. Heat of the night on TNT. Now I don't put on any airs, but then I ain't no slob. Just a redneck boy with a blue-collar job. The ladies I date, they gonna have 'em some fun, 'cause I'm a big hunk of crime-fighting son of a gun. So if you're looking to fight, come on up in the ring. You wanna be held tight, just about anything can happen in the heat of the night on TNT.
From NFL quarterback to Hollywood to the mayor's office, and now behind the mic at KXEX. This is the Alan Autry Show. No retreat.
And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
What the hell's going on out here? Everybody grabbing out there. Nobody.
That the only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
Today, I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth.
I'm not fearing any man. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord.
So, 5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes! Unbelievable. Free at last! Free at last!
You're listening to the Alan Autry Show on the best talk in town. Talk Radio 1550 KXEX. Call Alan now, 559-899-1550.
Hey, welcome to Alan Autry No Retreat. I'm old Alan Autry, so honored and humbled to be with you today on Taco Tuesday, and it's so much of an honor to welcome my good buddy, my lifelong buddy, Bullet Bob Lioni. Welcome, Bullet.
Hoss, how you doing today?
I am better than I deserve, as always. And we're soon to be joined, I think, by Guillermo Marino, who will be coming in, as he texted me, coming in hot. So he'll be here soon with us, hopefully.
Oh, my word.
We always like to start the show off, at least I do, something a little lighthearted, but we can't today because all of you cat lovers out there, a lot of folks love cat. Well, Bob, he's got a cat, and we need to, heard his cat's not feeling too well.
My cat ate some Scrabble tiles.
What?
My cat ate some Scrabble tiles.
Scrabble?
The game board.
The game, the Scrabble.
Scrabble, the words.
Yeah.
And got letters on the tiles. And so I had to take her to the vet.
How's it going to do? How's it going to turn out?
Well, no word yet.
All right, that was a lot of time. All the issues of the world we have to talk about. On the verge of nuclear war in the Ukraine, inflation out of control, crime out of control. We're going to talk about a cat that ate Scrabble. But hey, I had to go to the doctor, because me, I got a lot of Indian in me, Cherokee Choctaw.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I had to go to the doctor. I was worried about my mental health, and I went into the doctor.
Well, we're all worried about that.
I get a lot in the mail about that.
You don't
it's a challenge for us.
You don't have to pay to get.
Well, I did, become an actor, and then after that, you think you learn go into politics. There's something wrong up there in la cabeza.
Yeah,
cabeza's out of alignment. So I went to see the doctor, and I said, doctor, I sometimes I feel like a TP, sometimes I feel like a wigwam. TP, wigwam. The doctor says, don't worry, you're just too tense. What? Couple of dad jokes to start the show off. What's wrong with that? Too tense, get it? Wigwam, a tent. Okay, a teepee's a tent. Too tense.
I know what a TV.
All right, let's. What? Oh gosh, what do we start with?
Where do you go from there?
So many things. I mean, anything we go from there is a complete letdown.
Yeah.
When you start off a show with that much entertainment for free.
Yeah.
We don't even charge people for this. I used to get paid a lot of money to be on the screen.
Yeah.
Yeah. But thousands and thousands and thousands a week for saying, "Get right on it, Chief."
That's your famous line.
That's it, man. That was a well-paying dialogue there. You got paid big time when you were I almost said DJ, disparaging. Well, you were a radio personality, right?
I was a DJ.
Okay. Yep. Because it was us going up.
Well,
they referred to as DJ.
As a matter of fact.
It used to be bartenders, now it's baristas.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Jeremy and I were just talking about that before the show. When I went into the radio business in 1974, $500 a week. I thought I was in the top.
Oh, gosh, yes.
And did that for 4 years and then decided I wanted to make a little more money. So I went into the insurance business and was making.
And you did well.
$750. Well, I stayed there way too long.
Well, yeah, you blessed a lot of people. You never need insurance till you need it. And man, then you really need it.
Yeah, no, we didn't make a whole lot of money in those days.
All right, well, let's give a shout out across the pond to one Mr. Rishi Sunak. Does that name ring a bell? Probably not to most people.
It will soon.
It will soon, because this individual, Rishi Sunak, is now the new prime minister of a great. How many names can a country have? Is it England, Great Britain, United Kingdom? I mean, huh?
All of the
pick
above.
a name and stay with it. It's like me and Oprah. We got to pick a weight and stay with it.
It's all.
But anyway, Liz Truss, she was there all of
6 weeks.
She was there to have a tea and crumpet, and she was 88 and out the door. And as the House of Commons so eloquently said, Ms. Truss, please don't let the door of Buckingham Palace hit you in the arse on the way out. And she's just unceremoniously, she did. She resigned, Bullet.
Yes, she resigned because she apparently got a lack of confidence in whatever happened.
How can you get a lack of confidence in 6 weeks?
Well, she must have upset a lot of people very quickly.
Well, didn't they know when they put her up for the job?
You would think.
Of course, they didn't have folks like they have an election like here. They do it a little different on there. When Boris took a hike and got out of there, they have some machinations where the party gets to pick.
Yep.
they don't have a succession that automatic like we here in America with the separation of powers. What are you looking at me like? Guillermo just slithered into.
Oh, I didn't even know he was here.
Into the studio, folks on radio. I'm going to change that saying Johnny come lately to Guillermo come lately. You're a Guillermo come lately, but you are here with all your brilliance. So welcome.
Well, I heard
great to have you.
I heard the dad jokes.
Did you hear the dad jokes?
And I sped along even further.
To get here to save the show?
Because I say, I got to get there.
I got to get there and save the show. Well, when you're dads can appreciate that. Those are jokes that you can tell your kids.
Well, I was worried about
your kids aren't going to laugh, but you get.
I was seriously worried about his cat. I was about to give you like a good veterinarian guy, and then I was going to be like, well, I mean, if you need someone to like babysit the cat and go through the poop.
No word yet.
Are you a cat or dog guy, Guillermo?
A turtle guy.
I like turtles too.
Well,
no, I don't know if you said. I didn't know if you said that to be truthful.
No,
when
turtle.
I get, I'm going to get me a big old turtle and put him out in the backyard. Put a fence around the swimming pool and just
let him roam.
Yeah,
I'm a turtle guy.
That's funny you mentioned that. I was ask him just the other night. I was going, you know what? I want to get a turtle. She looked at me.
What a conversation.
She said, excuse me, I have to make a phone call. Dr. Kraft?
Back to that.
Can I schedule an appointment for my husband?
When I was in college dating my wife, we went to Chicago, 2 hours away. And
did she say yes the first time you asked her on a date?
No, she actually did not.
She turned you down?
She couldn't stand me.
Really?
She couldn't.
That's a whole show. We want to delve deep into that. We want to deep dive like we do into politics. Because you married way over your head.
You know that.
No doubt about it.
And I know your mama thinks that too.
Oh, for sure. Sure. Well, I identified as a woman when I first met her. So we'll talk about that later.
Oh, my word.
I'm not really laughing at that. It doesn't surprise me. But you were going through your gender fluidity. It's gender fluid now, Bullet Bob. You know that? It's like you just kind of just wander in the ocean. You're kind of just drifting into sexual.
Yeah.
So you were drifting. Okay, but seriously, you met her in college?
College, yeah.
And and for people who don't know, we'll get back to what were we talking about before?
Turtles.
No, before that. Oh, the Prime Minister of Great Britain, Liz Truss. Hang on to that because I'll forget. We need to come back to that. To Rishi Sunak. But I'm interested in this. Who knows? Hey, we're not guaranteed our next breath, much less tomorrow to talk about this. And this is very interesting. This is the interpersonal stuff that people need to, start talking. Hey, how'd you guys meet?
Yeah.
Rather than who you vote for in the midterms. You vote for Satan? Ron DeSatan out there in Florida? Everybody's just, gosh, closer we get to midterms, you can't even have a conversation.
That's a conversation starter right there.
Yeah.
Who you voting for, Satan?
Is that what you said? What was the first, do you remember the first subject you talked to her about?
I said hi.
Okay.
And she said,
which she retorted.
What do you think, you're a girl now?
She didn't say that.
She totally did.
I can kind of see that. So
let me give you context. In college, they separated the boys' lot and the girls' lot in parking. So there was a boys' lot for the dorm, segregated. So boys and girls. It's a private Christian college. So
there they go. The women drivers must put them over there. Don't want them coming in hot in the parking lot.
You're gonna get messages on that now.
No, I'm saying that was the mindset, not mine. I've always been for co-ed parking.
No, I me too.
So go ahead. You went in and you had two parking lots. She parked obviously in the women. Or are you going to say?
So I parked in the women's lot that day.
Okay.
Because it was
on purpose, or were you just coming in hot?
I was coming in hot, and it was
into class.
And it was
late for class.
It was I was ASB president, so I had an office.
Oh.
And I didn't have an assigned parking.
You were somebody.
So I not anymore. So I figured, you know what? It's a girls' lot. I'm ASB president. I can do whatever I want. Kind of.
Oh, I didn't go to your head, did it?
Flexing those muscles.
Show you a little power. Sure, run for office, Guillermo. I'm on this guy to run for senator. Sure.
Listen.
He gets to the senator and go, Alan who? Bubba what?
And anyhow, so I
put him on hold.
Where can I park?
I cut off my wife, and then she was just a girl.
Now, is this a true story? Because I don't know sometimes when you're joshing me or not.
No, I'm not joshing you. You can go ahead. Ask my wife. She'll
so you cut her off.
She was driving in, you were driving in.
I didn't see her in my defense. So I parked there, and then she caught up to me and said, hi, because I was ASB president. I was like, hey, hi, my name's Guillermo. Nice to meet you. I'm your president. What can I do for you?
Oh, the only thing missing was table for two. How do you like me so far?
So I said, hi.
Not too presumptuous there.
Hi.
I said, hi. And she said, what do you think? You're a girl now? And just turned around and walked away.
Because you're in that.
I like it.
I get it.
Yeah, see, if I was mentoring you back then, No, you got to play.
Words of wisdom.
You go there and you make a mistake. You cut it off. When you get out and you're confronting each other, you just I'm sorry, but I happened to look up and I saw you, and your beauty was so radiant. I forgot where I was going, and I happened to park here. And I mean, got in front of him and cut you off. I'm sorry.
So I would have had a Me Too
It's
movement.
never too early to start polishing your BS.
Well, you should know.
Especially in relationships with the opposite. I mean, it's just part of the deal. Well, that's good. Well, it all worked out because
It did, yeah.
all kidding aside, you guys make the perfect couple.
Oh,
You really do.
praise
People
God.
don't know that Guillermo's wife, she is just a sweetheart and so supportive, you can tell, of all the things that this guy's got going on to help make the world a better place, as she works to make the world a better place in the medical profession.
Yeah.
She's an all-star there. Okay, back to this. We were talking about before you came in hot. Rishi Sunak, the new prime minister. I think the guy's resume makes you say, why didn't they go with him to begin with? Because I guess it was a contested race between him and Liz Truss.
Yeah.
What the heck went south? Why wouldn't you say, this is the guy, those people in the know? Why did you get in and go after 6 weeks? Oops.
Gender.
You think
it was gender?
okay.
I think they knew that the close circle knew that Queen Elizabeth was in her latter days, and I bet you the conversation was, hey, what we need is a strong woman. We've had a strong woman, at the crown for such a long time. What if we defer to a strong woman prime minister? So I bet you that's all it was. It was all gender.
But they had already seen the polls on the issues, and the people really didn't like where she was heading on these things.
Yeah.
In the big, huge tax cuts, which England, I tell you, they got to get it together, because even the Sunak, who identifies as a conservative, is all for increasing the taxation. But he says down the line, we're going to do the tax cuts. She was coming out of the gate doing a Trump tax cut no matter what.
And she shouldn't have resigned.
Excuse me.
She shouldn't have resigned. But I mean, she was that fickle. Then I mean, it kind of benefits everybody.
I think maybe. But what's your take on this? I think it was a situation where she was probably a great number two. Number twos always don't make good number ones, and personality wise, whatever. But she was probably just a workhorse, and I mean that in the highest complimentary way, within the party, and maybe I think it was, you know what, it's her turn. I think they felt like they owed it to her, because she led the charge, one of the leaders with Boris Johnson on Brexit.
Yeah.
She took a lot of political hits way back when, which reflect in her polls now. They knew she wasn't personality-wise. She couldn't get out there and Svengali the people. She didn't have that gift of gab to do that.
Svengali? I
don't know. Just thought that out of
I would relate it a lot to a coaching analogy, where you have the head coach and you have a top assistant coach, maybe an assistant head coach, who
I'm tracking with you.
Is a great assistant coach, communicates with the players, with everybody, but then they put him into the head position, or her to the head person position. Now it's a whole different ballgame. I relate back. Our folks won't relate to this very much, but locally, when Boyd Grant was the coach here at Fresno State, nationally recognized program in basketball.
You're going to the Ron Adams, aren't you?
And I'm going to the Ron Adams thing. Ron Adams, his
great analogy,
technical guru on defense, one of the best defensive coaches in the country. And when Coach Grant left, they promoted Ron Adams because, just like you mentioned, they felt they had to. He was a great second banana. Turned out to be a whole lot less than that as a head coach.
Didn't have the skill. That, for us to know on that, that's a great analogy.
Didn't have the skill. In fact, he had so much skill that he became the defensive coach for the Warriors for 20 years. He may still be there.
Yeah.
As a defensive
I
coach,
think he is.
But couldn't make that transition to the head man.
Usually in things like this, isn't it like a combination? Things like Guillermo thinks it was, the gender thing. And I think there's something to that. Either they consciously or subliminally in their minds, whatever, say, this fits, it looks good, it feels
could have been
feels right.
Yeah.
Combined with what you're saying, I think, and they said, you know what? I think the thing was,
I'm not really on fire for this decision, but let's give her a shot. And then they found out right away, excuse me, just like right when they nominated Gerald Ford to run over Reagan, people who were at that convention said immediately they knew they had nominated the wrong guy, because Reagan come in and did the nomination speech for Gerald Ford, being the dutiful, loyal Republican that he was, gave a great speech introducing the next president, not bitter, not calling names. Okay, I lost. I'm still a loyal Republican. And he said in that convention hall, there was just, the air just went out of it, because they were going, my gosh.
Maybe foreshadowing 2024?
We backed the wrong guy. And it's done. There's nothing they could do at that time to turn it around. Yeah. It had been done. But in England, they could do something about it.
Well,
they got together and then fired her quickly.
Do you think that Boris was maybe hoping for a BB moment, a magic
coming back? I think, and then his sanity returned.
Yeah.
I think when Boris left, the party quotient increased inside his circle of friends exponentially. And he had to say, I'm going to have the big eye on me. I go back, give up my party and go back into this situation. We got the war in Ukraine, the economy going crazy. Can I really fix this? No.
Right. That was
but they're going to blame me. Who would walk back into that? Because they can say now, he can go, you know what? It was bad, but not real bad when I was prime minister.
Yeah.
Look what happened when I left. You got Liz Truss. But I think this guy, Rishi Sunak, I mean, you look at him from Indian descent, studied at Stanford. Wife, I think, is in pharmacy, made her fortune in that, and or was a doctor. No, his parents. Mother was a pharmacist, father was a doctor. And he said married in, right, to an $800 million fortune.
Yep.
And by all accounts, has garnered the respect of both conservatives and liberals.
That's a big deal.
That's a big deal.
Big deal over there.
Yeah. And because he comes out of the financial world. He was the equivalent of the head of the Department of the Treasury that we have here over there.
Okay.
And really knows the money side of it.
That's what they need.
And the economy's really tanked there. But it's going to be interesting to see, because, I want your opinion. I think there's two countries. I want to preface this by stepping back, because we want to talk about Ukraine and Kevin McCarthy saying, look, we can't have a blank check on this war in Ukraine. Okay, something's got to give.
Yeah.
And Liz Cheney saying he's part of Putin's party.
Of course, yeah.
We
all are, apparently, yeah.
I missed that.
Oh gosh, yeah. She went out. We talked about that on the show yesterday. But there's two countries. So the reason I brought that up is, we don't see another country invade another country unless it's like another country invading Libya when Gaddafi was there, whatever. You don't want to see that. That's a bad precedent. But that country's not even in NATO. Are you willing to go to nuclear war over protecting Ukraine forever, regardless of how much it costs? A total 100% commitment of American treasure, money, destroy our economy, eventually send people over there, which is what's going to happen. Is there enough national interest for the United States in this happening to make that kind of commitment? To me, first of all, Ukraine was not a democracy. It was a very oppressive government. And by United Nations even listed them down there.
Corrupt.
Very,
worse than
very
Mexico.
Corrupt. They cracked down on the media. People disappeared, just like they do in Russia.
Yeah.
That actually people don't want to hear that. Because here's how he supports Putin. No, I don't. Just grow up a little bit, will you, folks? That say those things. I mean, that's not what I'm saying. We just got to be realistic about this. There's a lot there. It was not a democracy. You're not protecting democracy. If you're protecting the Ukrainian model of democracy with all this, you're not talking about the same democracy that we live under here in the United States of America at all. So you say, should we be there? There's only two countries, I think, that we should be willing to go to nuclear war. England, if their existential existence was threatened, because they have been through thick and thin the only staunch ally in Western Europe.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm sorry, France, you helped us win our independence, but you transformed into something. It was just been described as France is the biggest communist stronghold in the free world, and a good case could be made for that. All these other countries have never been biased through thick and thin. England has. And one in the Middle East, Israel. Israel has had our back.
Agreed.
No matter what. They're willing to put their existence on the line for America. So those two countries get threatened, and the opponent happens to be a nuclear country, China, Russia. We're going to blow Israel off the face of the earth. Well, we're going to have to let the nukes fly as well. But so that's why this election over there, the things that are happening in the UK, who rises to the top there, is extremely important to us, I think. That's why I'm spending time on this, that from Brexit to this political situation.
I would agree to a certain extent. I don't think it's going to change anything. I don't think who they select as prime minister is going to change anything. I think, unfortunately, and I don't know, maybe you guys differ than me, but unfortunately, Putin has all the cards right now. Putin's always had all the cards. The fact that we're inactive, the Americans are inactive, the Chinese are actually pretty inactive. I don't think a prime minister in Britain's going to come in and change the equation very much. So I
think Putin, listen to his statements, he does fear a total UK involvement.
You think?
Yes. UK, still with all its problems, is now surpassed Germany as the strongest economy in Western Europe. Germany's in shambles with their Green New Deal thing. It's Bob. They're not the Germany that we've known 10, 15, 20 years ago. I think not even 5 years ago.
Go ahead.
But I think, and they say if UK is all in, then the United States is going to be all in.
Well, I was just going to say that in concert with the U.S. A duality there with with us and the UK, completely bought in. That's a pretty tough obstacle for Putin to face.
Right, and this is why I think it concerns us. Things going to change is you get a prime minister there who considers Putin's actions an existential threat to the UK. If that mindset's there, that spells trouble, because we would have to get even more super involved, and everything truly is on the table. And that's why we have to be concerned, because I flat out, and I tell you, we'll talk about it after the break here in a second. I saw yesterday, finally, I sent the article to Bullet here, 30 liberal congresspeople stepped forward, led by some of the craziest folks you could imagine, giving a message to Joe Biden: you need to reconsider your policy in Ukraine. You need to sit down with Putin and pursue peace with the equal vigor and zeal that you're pursuing war. This is heading to a disastrous ending here. And I'm sitting there thinking, it takes this group of 30 of really the craziest people with the craziest policies. But then I realized it makes all sense in the world. Who better can identify and see crazy than another crazy person?
That's a good way of looking at it. Yeah, it's a good way.
What better person to say that's a sociopath than a sociopath? They're going to go, you know what? I do the same thing. I see that expression. That's my expression. I have no remorse. I have no empathy. I have no guilt for the dastardly deeds I do. I'm a sociopath, and I see it in that individual. This individual, folks, that you think is really great, is protecting you and loves you, is going to be there, would slit your throat when you give him a chance, when he's ready.
Yeah, it's a good way of looking at it. Yeah.
So they're coming up there, and when you're too crazy for the crazy, you know you're in a bad situation there. This is Alan Autry, No Retreat. We're going to be right back.
Wilson Pickett and the Stickin' Wicked.
What do we got to wait on, Pearl? The midnight hour? All right.
Fade it out.
Social media, we still got you going. Well, I'm running a pretty good belly there.
Hey,
I'm doing a little Buddha there. Look at that.
Yeah, baby. And more biscuits and gravy.
Who was that guy? Who was the guy? No.
Potatoes,
mustard and biscuits. You ought not talk to your mother like that. Yeah, I'm gonna have to take this. Remember what Dwight Yoakam says? Carl, what you gonna do with that sling blade? I aim to kill you with it. No, who was that character on the Austin Powers? Oh yeah, fat.
Oh yeah.
I want you in my belly. Guillermo, I want you in my belly.
That's the same guy.
Well, see, I have the advantage over here.
Mike Myers. That was Mike Myers too.
It was.
I told Jeremy I wanted the camera shot so that they wouldn't have to see my fat gut. So I'm protected here by the top of
gut.
this.
This is a fat gut. I pull a Crocodile Dundee. That's not a knife. This is not. Well, that's not a gut. Here's the gut.
Knife.
Here's the gut. Let me show you.
Well, remember the camera adds 10 pounds.
I got more. Gosh, I got more chins than a Chinese phone book.
No, I do. I got it. It's hereditary on my end.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it really?
I
didn't even notice if you didn't mention it.
Yeah.
Well, you do that.
That's why I got this, so they don't see all my chins.
Well, it comes out patchy.
Oh, you know what? I'm gonna sound like a Pentecostal preacher when I say this, but I have
preach
to.
it, brother. Preach it.
No, I just got a feeling here that somebody's watching this show that's having a really difficult time with a family member. I'm not trying to read some kind of prophetic thing, but I made you guys a promise a long time ago that if I felt something right around, I was just going to send.
Yeah.
And my feeling is this too shall pass. Just stay strong. Keep in prayer, and it's going to pass. You're going to get through this.
Amen.
Okay?
Romans 5:3.
Is that what that is?
You know my favorite verse.
Oh gosh, we got to
Or even in our sufferings, we. I can't even remember it.
What's
now.
your favorite one?
Yeah, I know.
In our suffering, but I think we mourn, but not as those who have no faith.
Yeah.
30 seconds.
Suffering brings perseverance, perseverance, character, and character, hope.
There you go.
And hope will not disappoint us.
I love
because we are blessed by the love of Jesus Christ.
So, you're not supposed to talk about religion or politics. We don't follow those rules here. We
Throw that out
interject
the
it,
window.
whatever.
10 seconds.
Oh, my headphones is going back and forth here.
Really?
What's Jeremy going to lead us in with? He's been pretty good on the choice of intro music lately.
Oh, you're listening to the Alan Autry Show on the best talk in town. Talk Radio 1550 KXEX. Call Alan now.
Thanks, my man.
899-1550.
Right. The party's over.
And tomorrow starts the same old thing again.
Everybody now.
I don't even know this song.
Okay. Well, oh, my dear little millennial. I got it. We see you educate me on millennial stuff, and I educate you on boomer stuff.
Well, let me ask you,
that is Willie Nelson.
No way.
It's Willie Nelson.
I think I know that guy.
Have you heard of Willie Nelson?
Yeah.
You have heard of him.
Well, they asked him to pay his taxes. And
yeah.
You know what? He said, I thought they said play Texas.
Oh, you know what?
Good one.
I like that. Yeah. That's a dad joke.
That's a good one.
Do you know that Willie Nelson paid off that whole multi-million-dollar debt? That's how he was brought up. I owed it. He just doubled up his concerts. Okay. Speaking of turn out the light, the party's over. Yeah. Okay. It's better be good because I had a great momentum going into that intro. No, go ahead. I want to defer to you.
It's about being a millennial. You think I'm old?
What's that?
You think I'm old as a millennial?
Old?
Yeah.
At 30. I'm 70 freaking years old.
So would you classify me as young, as a millennial?
Yes. Yeah. I feel like I should put you on my knee and tell you about Santa Claus.
And
what
Easter
are you talking
Bunny.
about? Do I think you're old? Is that it? So you're trying to make me feel bad already?
I'm having a midlife crisis because there's this concert series in Nevada called When We Were Young, and it's all my generation of singing like alternative rock, and it's entitled When We Were Young, and I'm like, we're still young.
I will admit something to you. I'm going to confess something here. You know the toughest year for me, turned seriously, that it was really, I went, oh, dadgum, man, 30. And the reason
I can't remember back then.
No, I remember. The only reason I remember it because I was really down. I remember thinking, as long as you can put a 1 or a 2 by your age, even if it's like 28, 29, there's kind of an excuse for your behavior. I know I made that dumb mistake, but I'm just in my 20s. I'm still a young guy. But when you put that 3, you had reached You know, and all the old songs talked about when, 30 was old and this and that. And I really had a tough time with that. Really weird. Not 40, little bit of 40, 50, 60. After 70, you're toast anyway.
You don't really care.
Oh, gosh, everything's day. You're on the injured reserve. It's day to day, like a sports list. So you kind of get used to the oldness. But no, you're not old. Goodness gracious.
You're young.
Okay. Speaking of turn out the lights, the party's over. Here's the question for the panel. You at home listening on the radio
The panel.
and social media. There seems to be, among the Republicans and conservatives and the talking heads on conservative radio and TV such, I'm sensing this victory lap mentality that I'm fearful is not as secure and a done deal as people think. The polls show that Republicans all over the country are surging. Me being an independent, I'm going to tell you, I'm pulling for the Republicans. You know why? Because we can't stay where we are now. If a candidate, it's the best wisdom I can give you. If a candidate says, I support where we are now, how we're doing things now, the Biden agenda, you just don't vote for them. It's insanity. It's like playing Russian roulette. Okay, I've shot Chambers. I got one bullet in there. You already, snapped it 3 or 4 times, and you're 1 out of 2, and you go, okay, I like these policies. It's just sometimes conditions in the country. Back in the Great Depression, Herbert Hoover was by all measures a good guy. He even started the social giveaway programs that Roosevelt gets credit for. He had a big heart. You do some research. He loved people. But the conditions at the time were so horrific in so many areas. Double-digit unemployment, inflation. It was horrible. You had to make a change. And Roosevelt came in. And that's the situation now. There's so many things out of whack. And so my question is, are they counting the eggs before they're hatched here? Pearl was...
I would caution that attitude at this point. It's never over till it's over, and all the ballots are counted. But I think if we go back...
They're already counted. We already know who's going to win.
Well, in some places, yeah. Okay. You still have to have some faith in the system, Guillermo.
That's his new name, O.D.
Yeah.
O.D. Nyer.
Still have to have some faith in the system. Yeah. I think if we go back to when was George Bush the first, 1988?
George H. Yeah.
And it was that he was going to win. No
that
problem.
Is a good point.
He didn't go out and campaign like he should have. And I remember thinking, man, this guy's, he's got it in the bag. Didn't quite happen that way. So and I'm sure there are many more examples down through history, but don't get too confident. Don't get too cocky. Don't stop campaigning. Do what you have to do to ensure a potential victory, because when you start thinking that way, then it all turns around, and you're toast. So
couldn't agree more.
I think they need to keep the pedal to the metal.
Yeah, that's a great example though, the George H. Bush. You know, at one time he had the highest approval rating of any president. It was after Desert Storm, 82% approval rating. That's why nobody ran against him.
Wow.
It was this obscure governor from Arkansas says, we can do, and he had a great line. He goes, I know we're doing good, but we can do better. I feel your pain.
Well, he was
he was a workaholic,
great communicator.
Yes, brilliant. And look what happened. But go ahead. What's your take on this? Are the Republicans a little too confident right now?
No.
Okay.
So this is what I'm going to do a football analogy, since we're well, I was going to say we're all football players, but I wasn't.
You're a Michigan State Spartan fan.
Oh gosh.
Go ahead. Excuse me.
Let me shy away from football then. I think the Republicans, we're in the second quarter, and we're going to win. And we're going to spike the football in the end zone, and we're going to do a little dance.
And you're in the second quarter.
In the second, that's the key.
Haven't even gone into halftime yet.
That's the key. No, we're about to go in. We're going to spike the football on November 8th, and then we're going to go in for halftime. The key is going to be, what are the Republicans going to be able to do coming out after halftime? Because there's a lot of football to be played. And I also want to...
2 weeks.
Yeah.
Big 2 weeks.
Well, football to be played as far as 2024.
No, it's too. No, I'm following your
Yeah.
analogy. There's a lot of people think, it's 2 weeks. It's a lot of time.
Oh, no, a lot of time here too. But here's my other issue. I want to temper expectations because for some reason the Republicans and conservatives are going around saying, "You elect us, we're going to come in, we're going to fix it." Like, well, hold on, slow your horses here. That's assuming that you get the United States Senate, which that I believe that's closer than a lot of people expect. So I want to temper expectations that Republicans and conservatives can come in and fix it because I don't want to be sitting here a year from today and Kevin McCarthy taking over the Speaker of the House and we're unable to do anything productive or constructive. So that's my issue number one. My second issue was a couple of weeks ago I was really worried, and I think the listeners of the show, and I think I said it here, I said I'm really worried because politics is about math, right? And I'm not good at math, but politics and races and winning is a big math problem. All you got to do is get more than the other guy. And here you have the entire nation is voting. The Democrats are smart at math. They know where they need to win, and they know where they need to fix the votes. So a couple of weeks ago, I was really concerned that they would eventually do some fixing like they did in 2020. And then the fair happened. And then I was in 5 different states yesterday. And at the fair and yesterday, I realized it doesn't matter where you're at. Everybody is talking about politics. Like yesterday, I tried to get away from it. I sat down at an airport, and I joined a group of Raider fans. And you thought they were talking about the Raiders. They weren't. They were talking about the economy. And I was like, oh my
that's
gosh.
what happens when you're 2-4.
I can't. No kidding. I can't get rid of it. Everywhere I go.
Yeah.
The big Fresno Fair was a strong tell too. You know how many people that they don't even look like they'd be politically inclined or came up to the booth and said, I can't stand the way things are going. So I think what's going to happen is I am worried that the Democrats are going to fix a couple of key races, but I think the overwhelming wave, this red wave, I don't think it's going to be a red wave. I think it's going to be like a little, maybe a little splash.
You mentioned fix. You mean you think there's going to be some illegal things going on?
Yeah. Is the Pope Catholic?
Yes.
Some would argue that.
Yeah. That's very true.
Yeah.
Is Guillermo a Republican?
He's liberal.
Yeah, we're going to argue that.
That's my two.
Yeah,
my 2 cents.
I think they're getting a little too overconfident. And staying with the football analogy, for your analogy, I think and that Clinton example is just brilliant. And every Republican should think about this. Work like you're 2 touchdowns behind in the fourth quarter, and don't get out there and think you're ahead when actually you're behind, and then you take a knee on 4th down. Well, I thought we were ahead. I'm going to run out the clock. No, you go as if you have to keep working, because I do think on the ballot right now, this year, this election, and I think in 2024 and then 2026, these next 6 years are going to be huge as far as the direction of this country. Because I think we're talking about fundamental principles at stake here in this country.
Yeah.
Of who we are as a country. What do we value? What are our basic foundational principles? For example, I think on the ballot is this deep question that everybody has to ask themselves. What is best for this country? To get free money or money you earn? That's a deep question, because this country always heretofore lived by, good to hard days work for a good day's pay. You had to earn something. Giveaways were not part of it. It was always an expectation that you do something. The country just didn't have that kind of money to give away.
Yeah.
And I think in terms of jobs, is it best to have a job given to you based on gender and race, or a job that you earn with hard work and proficiency and merit? Those are really that the Democrats are banking on more, especially after COVID. People want free money. They want free things. And if you vote for us, you're going to continue to get that, regardless of how that erodes a country's soul and an individual's soul, that you simply don't have to work for what you get. Well, and
I don't know. I agree with you 100%.
No, I
agree with you 110%.
A lot of that goes back, I think, too, Haas, to the state of for lack of a better, the state of our law enforcement and our laws within our country in a moral society.
That's on the ballot too.
It definitely is, because when you talk about getting something for nothing, when you can go into a store and literally steal $950 worth of product or whatever, and walk out the door without any ramifications.
Oh yeah, the security guards playing TikTok
without any fear of being arrested for theft.
Yeah,
and be able to do that and get that falls into your something for nothing category. And nobody wants to work for it.
Yeah,
if
law
they can
and
get
order.
if they can get away with it,
that's on the ballot too.
Yeah, if they can get away with it.
Because here's the thing that's scary. Why I think we're at a tipping point for the next few elections is as much as we see these ideologies of something for nothing, punish the law-abiding citizen, not the criminal, no cash bail, open borders, all of these things that we see as so nonsensical, so crazy, so anti-American, so assuredly destructive in the long term, is certainly headed for absolute disaster, socially, economically, every way you can imagine. You can't sustain those kind of ideology. You know the train wreck is coming, and you know that. Still, at least half of the country says we want that. Yeah. If you're voting Democrat, not hoping they're going to have those Democrats either come over and vote Republican this time, or they stay home like Reagan did when there was the landslide. They talk about the Reagan Democrats because we're in a similar situation with Carter's administration. Yeah, so it's a replay, but worse. Go ahead.
So I think you're onto something. What matters, what's on the ballot, I don't think at the national level, what you're talking about is probably true at the national level. I think at the local level is more so. I think that's where the values are being fought in the city council races, the school board races. So when we talk about the red wave and is it coming nationally, yeah, but I'm more concerned about locally, because when you talk about defunding the police and all that's made on the state level. If at the end of November 8th, we look across the country and Oregon, New York, they elect Republican governors, and up and down the country they elect conservative members to the school board, conservative city council members. That's when you're really talking about, okay, I think the people are waking up and saying, hey, we want these this stuff to change.
I agree with you, but I think these conversations that you're hearing all over is an awakening of the populace, of the people, of the middle class in particular, that they have to become just as knowledgeable about the federal and state issues as local, because the local issues are inextricably tied to those state and federal policies. For example, those PPE loans of several $100,000 didn't come from the Fresno City Council. They probably would have liked to. They came from the federal government. They're the only one that can write checks that big. And I know businesses that got wealth. They didn't suffer one bit during COVID. Yeah. They got this free money, loans they didn't have to pay back. The economic disaster didn't happen. The economic disaster from COVID, the economic disaster was government intervening to the tune of $4 or $5 trillion of phony money into the economy, and it's destroying this country because now you're paying 2, 3, 4 times what you were paying for a carton of eggs. Gasoline's through the roof. Your basic essentials, electricity bills going through the roof. That began. You got to look at the source of the problem, and I think that's what you're seeing is this great awakening, of people. For example, real quick, and I give this Schwarzenegger credit, workers' compensation insurance. You mentioned that here.
I know it well.
People, but the normal person out there here in California didn't know.
Yeah.
And you said, hey, it's destroying businesses. Why? Well, you got workers' comp. You should get injured. You should be working. Yeah. But you sit the person down and say, that has a job at business A, and say, listen, the workers' compensation on every employee just tripled. So they either have to go out of business or cut jobs, and you're going to be the one that's going to lose their job. They didn't understand the connection between that abusive policy from the state called increased workers' compensation liabilities that had to be paid and their own job. But it became such an issue and talked about. Now you have more people in California knowing the dangers of arbitrarily doubling, tripling, quadrupling.
Yeah.
So what once people's eyes would glaze over is now understandable. So the populace needs to know now the basic fundamental economic truth, not theory, that you pump trillions of dollars into economy, inflation is going to catch fire. And if you do a little bit of research in history, you'll realize it's been inflation pretty much alone, more than wars, that have brought down great, powerful societies. And America is going to be no different unless we get a handle on it and stop this crazy spending. That's what Kevin McCarthy was saying. But then you got Liz Cheney and Nancy Pelosi. Oh, you're one. So that's what I'm saying is I hear what you're coming from, and I hope the awakening, because it's happening. And there's this re-education in our school systems that, listen, you need to earn your money. The government handout it may feel good for the moment, but you're going to pay for that. Because we're paying that $1,600. How many times have you paid that back in inflation and over it? That is the most expensive $1,600 you ever took as an individual and in businesses. So take that, put that pipe in your pipe and smoke it.
What happens if America doesn't show up? What happens if you thought about that? Do you trust the American people?
Here's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that those who support these giveaways, this radical left agenda, say to themselves, I was kind of motivated when the orange man was in there, even though he was a man of color. Orange man. Okay? He was a man of color. I'm going to stand up again. I hate this man of color, the orange man. And he's white, he's rich, he's orange. God, if I can't hate this guy, who can I hate? They were motivated to turn out. Well, Orange Man is not there anymore. The great communicator and great Vince Lombardi and motivator Joe Biden is in there talking about about nuclear war while chocolate chip ice cream's dripping down his chin, licking an ice cream cone.
Was it really?
If that doesn't inspire you to come out and keep voting for what's in there now, I don't know what will. You know what I'm saying. Obviously, I'm being absurd. But, okay. Hey, you know what? We got Doris from Michigan.
Yeah, Michigan.
Doris, are you there?
Yeah.
Hey, welcome for calling in. You haven't called in before, have you?
Yeah, I've called in. It's Kalamazoo, Doris.
Okay, it's been a while.
Kalamazoo?
Yeah. Kalamazoo?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You know where that is, right?
Yeah, I do. KZoo.
Yeah. Is that where Western Michigan is?
Yeah, right, Doris?
Yes.
That was the scene
the
of
home
one
of
of
the Broncos.
That was one of my worst, bitterest defeats as a quarterback. UOP, we went to play Western Michigan. We lost in the last second by a bad call by the referee. But I had a chance to be the guy scored a touchdown on a pass from me, and it was a comeback, a fourth quarter comeback, which I didn't have too many of those. So but what's on your mind, Doris? We just got a couple of minutes left.
There's a proposal in Michigan, Proposal 3, that we need prayer on that it doesn't pass. It was pushed through because of Roe v. Wade being overturned.
Okay.
And it will allow abortions at any time, any stage of the pregnancy for any reason. And minors won't need to have parents' permission. And it will also allow kids as young as 10 to go in and get gender reassignment medicine without parents' permission.
Wow, that's measure 3.
It's a big one, yeah, measure 3.
Measure 3.
Yeah.
And
tons of signs everywhere for it.
Okay. Well, I tell you, Doris, thank you for calling in on that and letting us know there. I don't mean to rush you off there. We just got a couple of minutes, and I don't want to.
Oh, that's fine.
But no, don't let that deter you from calling in the future.
Doris,
go ahead.
I have a big feeling that I think it will fail. Michigan is a very special place in my heart, and I spent several days there last week. I don't see it passing, and further, it's all going to depend on the Detroit, Ann Arbor area where all the liberal votes are. They have had such an awakening. I'm just not buying it. So, and I, honestly, I think Governor Whitmer, I think she's in a tight one. I think she'll pull it out, but I think we got to pray for Prop 3. But I think you guys are in good shape over there.
Doris, thank you for bringing that to our attention, because it sounds like it's one of those truly abortion on demand type things at any time.
Not a good thing.
All right. Well, thank you, Doris. Appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
No, thank you. Okay, just a couple of minutes left there.
And go green.
Hey, have you seen Go Green?
Yeah, go green. You're supposed to say go white.
Well, no, as in Green New Deal?
No, go green is in that Michigan
Green
State Spartan. Yeah, someone says go green, and then someone else says.
Well, let me
go
ask you
white.
this: how bad is Michigan going to beat Michigan State this year? If they don't beat them on the field, they'll beat them up in the tunnel.
Or the streets, yeah.
Like they did Penn State. Isn't that bad? The coaches can't even control their players.
Yeah.
That James Franklin's over there, the coach of Penn State, going, you need to have them come in at different times so they don't. No, control your freaking team. Tell them if you get in there and you pop off, you throw a punch, you're going to run 20 gassers the next practice.
Then Harbaugh's blaming Franklin and everything.
Yes.
Else.
Control your team. You can't walk into the locker room together out there without the fear of fighting.
No, you can't.
Together.
No.
Come on.
Again.
Yeah, no, this is rivalry.
I know.
This goes deep.
That's a good learning moment, a teachable moment. You're going to walk in shoulder to shoulder with the guy you've been knocking the snot out of each other for 2 quarters. Control yourself like men and go into the right locker room, and let's talk about how we can kick their butt on the field the second half. I grabbed them by the helmet. Anybody got involved in that? I would give them see, that's what happens. The tail's wagging the dog, the inmates are running the asylum. Coaches don't stand up and hold these kids accountable. Then they wonder going, oh, I just heard that old Joe just knocked off a liquor store or beat up his wife. Well, I wonder where that started.
Yeah. Or came off the field and punched out a photographer.
How about a little anger management that you could have talked to him about,
the
Coach?
Tripped.
No, it's just, you see that anger, Joe? I want you to direct it.
Hey, do we have time for an On This Day?
Hurry up, yeah.
Oh, we have to.
Minute 47,
go. Hurry up.
Well, we got a minute. I don't want your brilliance to be cut off mid-sentence.
Night on this day, 1964, in the NFL,
all right.
The famous wrong way run.
No, Jim Marshall?
By Jim Marshall.
He ran the wrong way?
Yes, picked it up.
October 25th, 1964, picked up a fumble, thought he was going to be the hero, but turned around and ran the wrong way.
And do you see his teammates were trying to tackle him? And then he's in the end zone celebrating. The opposing player comes up and slaps him on the back and goes, good job. And he's looking at him like, what? What are you doing?
Does that count as a touchdown for the opposing team?
No, safety, I think.
And Marshall's in the Hall of Fame now. So.
Safety. Oh, have you seen LeBron James' new commercial for AT&T?
Yes.
Hey, this goes I-14 for everyone. Now, he really wanted to resurrect a career.
Who's it?
For everyone. This deal. Not just for special people, for everyone. They go back and forth, this deal for everyone. That's the hook. They should have a close-up of him, if I was his agent, and go, you mean everyone? Everyone. And I'd have LeBron turn to the camera going, even white cops.
Oh, my gosh.
Would he missed a golden opportunity.
I'm so tired
This
of
I-14 is for everyone.
I'm tired of him.
Including white cops.
Hey, go green.
All right. Go red.
Go. You're supposed to say go white.
Go white. Okay. I'll
green
do
and
one.
white. Daletown.
Green. Yes. We're the same colors. Our high school this year. I'm in. I'm all in now.
There you go. Go green.
I'll just think Cowboys, Riverdale Cowboys. No, you're Michigan State. I'm pulling for them. Pulling for them to beat old Jim Harbaugh. Folks, thanks for tuning in. Running out of time. Love you so much. God bless you. And just remember, do your best. Let God do the rest. And I promise it's going to turn out just the way it's supposed to. Love y'all. Bye-bye now.